Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another episode of Changing the Questions. My name is Paul Laporte. Joining me, as always, my co-host, Mike Miner. And on special occasion, we have Dominic Schmidt with us.
How you doing?
And Daniel Peruzzi joining as well for a four-man Changing the Questions show. Woo! Changing the Questions being the show where we take one question and pick it apart like a wrestling analogy that I can't think of right now.
Pick it apart
like
like Ric Flair picks apart a leg.
There we go.
Or a chicken sandwich.
And the question that we're going to be...
or chicken picks apart feed.
Like Rick Fart... Like Rick... Okay. Like
Game.
Like Ric Flair picks apart a bank loan. Alright, and the question that we are going to be asking today that has at least half of my crew flummoxed right now.
Oh, man.
Who is the most underrated professional wrestler of all time? There's a lot of names that pop up pretty frequently when this is brought up. I don't know if you guys have some that are outside of the box. Now, we're going to qualify underrated pretty loosely. It can be somebody who never held a belt or never held a world championship. It can be somebody who was a world champion, but you think that there could have been more done with. It can be somebody who never made the big time at all that you think should have. So we're going to keep things pretty loose here, just in the name of conversation. Who wants to go first?
I mean, I already have my, not number one most underrated, but I would definitely put him on like a top 10 countdown. Matt Hardy.
Okay.
Just because the guy's solid in the ring. He's bigger than they made him look on TV, realistically. And he never got the kind of love that Jeff got.
I will agree.
Yeah.
In terms of wrestling, I've always thought that Matt was better than Jeff.
Much more solid
sure.
on the mat.
In terms of charisma, yeah, Jeff has the edge, but
Matt could be really great when he wants to go to it. Remember Mattitude?
Yeah,
the
version 1 Matt Hardy stuff was
Yeah.
really good. He was a really good kind of...
I don't find Jeff Hardy that charismatic. I don't know why people say that. I'm just like...
I was never his biggest fan either, so you're not going to get an argument from me.
He had that little strange thing. He was...
Girls loved him.
He was kind of the right place, the right time. He was, the risk taker, and...
He fit the era.
Well, yeah, he was also a little bit ahead of his time too, but not too far ahead where people didn't get it. He was like right in that sweet spot of he's a little bit more daredevil than people expect him to be, but not like a New Jack.
To go back to my point of Matt Hardy being the most one of the most underrated, do you notice how we immediately changed the topic to Jeff Hardy? Like immediately.
There you go. That proves it right there.
We're just like, yeah, Matt Hardy's underrated, but Jeff Hardy, now that's a guy.
Now that's a guy that's overrated, but we'll save that for another show.
And that's the thing is like I've seen Matt Hardy perform live. I've seen Matt Hardy perform on TV since I was a kid, and like Edge has his spear off the top, and the Dudleys have thousands of tables, and there was always a second guy in that group, and like Christian, Devon, and Matt Hardy, I guess they never really got the love that they deserved. Granted, Christian is boring shell of a coat riding man, but like I always thought Matt Hardy deserved more, not world title fame, but like I could see him being more than he was. Unfortunately, he got stuck in that former tag team wrestling.
Right. I think if Matt Hardy had the opportunity to make it to WWE, WWF at the time, without Jeff or before Jeff or whatever, I think he would have done better. I don't think he's ever holding a world title, but I think he's probably more of a prevalent mid-carder than he was. I mean, he held Intercontinental belt, and
I think he was ECW heavyweight champion, probably.
Yeah,
was he? Who cares?
Matt was. He didn't hold the IC title, but he held the
U.S. title.
U.S. title. He held
flip flop between him and MVP.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
It was the U.S. title. He held the ECW title, which was at that time it was the third brand that and they called it the ECW World Championship.
Yeah,
so they kind of considered it at that
IC
point,
title.
but that was as far as they went with him. Unfortunately, because I thought he was pretty great, but I always thought he was a much better dickish heel than he was a face. Very solid face even, but kind of lackluster as far as personality goes as a face.
Yeah,
Like,
I think he
I'm
was
gonna
always a
go-
better bad guy than a good guy, just in
Yeah.
general. And Jeff was kind of the opposite.
Yeah, and Matt never really, kicked it on as far as being a face that kind of got in your face. He was always kind of like the white baby, like the white pork face baby face. I don't even know how to say it. Like he was just always
Not
just
pork
kind of
face.
pork face,
White meat baby face. I think
white
is
meat.
it?
Yeah,
Yes.
see,
The
pork
white
is
pork.
see pork is the other white meat. That's where I got that from.
As
Dirt.
opposed to the brown pork.
Oh my god.
Pork.
Jesus Christ.
All right, so who would you do your underrated pick, guys?
You know what? There's so many.
I'll jump in and throw
All
one
right.
out if you want to think about
Yeah,
it.
let's do it.
I'm going to say, okay, the name that comes to mind anyways, I'm going to say Bam Bam Bigelow.
Ooh,
Oh,
nice pick.
The
I've mentioned him
amount
before.
of agility that he had for a man his size is absolutely insane. In my opinion, on the level of freak athletes like Brock Lesnar, the things he could do for a guy his size, very Kevin Owens-ish. Or I guess I would say Kevin Owens is Bam Bam Bigelow-ish because
Yeah, it's proto Kevin Owens, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He never held a title in WWE, WWF. Was a hardcore champion and tag champion in WCW, and that was it there. He was an ECW champion. But, I mean, just the things he could do going back and watching it are just mind-blowing for a guy at his
Yeah.
size. If you've never seen it, go back and watch some of the stuff. It's insane.
Yeah, I think I mentioned Bam Bam Bigelow. Yeah, I have mentioned Bam Bam Bigelow in the, I guess, the prototype to this show, where we were doing the video stuff. We were going to release videos, but
Oh, yeah,
we said
that's
go
right.
this route, and I mentioned Bam Bam. And
We're all
like you
too
said-
ugly for the other.
The
Yeah,
lost video pilots.
we have faces made for radio. But yeah, Bam Bam, like you said, was very underrated in that regard. But on the other hand, he also did do a shoot interview before he died, saying that he never really put too much stock into championships, and if he wanted to get over, he could get over, certainly because of his size, the way he moved, and the way he performed his maneuvers. And he basically said he doesn't want to carry around all that, stuff through an airport or whatever. But the point is that either way, he was...
That's what guys who never
Underrated.
won belts say.
Yeah.
I don't want to carry
Yeah,
that
but,
shit through an
you know,
airport. It's big, it's heavy.
But
No,
let's be
I don't
honest,
want that.
Bam Bam was a guy that really... He really didn't need championships. You look at the guy, he's got flames on his freaking head, and he's very imposing. And you know
On a
what?
very short list of guys who can pull off that tattoo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly. And you know what? Let me go to my pick. Let me continue it. I just thought of it for whatever reason, but Mike Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Mike, awesome.
Nice pick.
As far as a power wrestler, high fly, he was well versed in whatever style he wanted to do. He could jump over the top rope with a dive, a tope, whatever he wanted to do. He could jump from the top rope.
Do
onto
springboards.
Springboards. He could demolish you with power bomb after power bomb. He could throw somebody into the front row if he wanted to. He was a very well versed, very well rounded wrestler. As far as his charisma goes, on a big platform, everybody wants a speaker, but the guy, his performance in the ring spoke for itself. I
So,
thought.
the thing with Mike Awesome, and it's a shame that all these people that we're mentioning
know.
are dead. Matt Hardy's not dead yet, I guess.
You guys.
He, but
Man.
the only thing about Mike Awesome, I agree, he was really spectacular to watch. But Mike Awesome was at his best when he was freak show kill the guy wrestler.
Yeah.
In back and forth competitive matches, unless it was a Masato Tanaka, who can hit each other with an unprotected chair shot, the hardest sort of match. He couldn't. I don't think he kind of held up.
My thing is, like you said, it depends on the performer that he's with. I think he could have gone further. I don't know if it's a matter of him not keeping up with another opponent, or if it's the opponents that wouldn't be able to keep up with him.
See, I don't think it's a thing
I
of not
don't
keeping
know.
up. I just don't think that his style
They
suits
jive,
a back and
I
forth
don't know if they
competitive
would
match.
jive well, but it's just I think he could have done a lot better. I definitely think he was underrated. He could have He could have gone over.
I didn't know.
He's everything they're looking for in a guy except for promo skills.
I didn't realize he killed himself.
Yep. he did.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah.
I was just looking that up. I was like, man, how did Mike Awesome die? This sounds so familiar.
Yep.
Not that
Unfortunately,
familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good pick though, for sure. And especially because when he did get his opportunity on the bigger stages, for some reason they just decided to turn it into like Mike Awesome seems like the most like layup guy you could have. Like here's this dude who's like 6'8", he's huge, he can do springboards and giant frog splashes, and he looks imposing, looks like a bruiser. Let's make him into a guy who bangs fat chicks. Weird. Like, it's weird. Like, how do you miss with a guy like that?
Because they tried to give him personality as far as what they thought would get over with the crowd. And unfortunately, you make him look like a gross idiot by saying, oh, he's going to bang fat chicks. Like, first off, it's insulting to heavier women, so you're pissing them off.
Right,
then you're
exactly.
pissing off...
WCW was never...
Yeah, that
never had a problem with
WCW
that.
demographic of heavier women.
Yeah, well... then you got,
You had the 70s guy.
you got your normal fans that are like, what the fuck is this? This is stupid.
That's a gimmick. That is like a career-killing gimmick, essentially.
And
because after that, you're just known as the fat chick guy or the 70s guy or
the
whatever.
70s guy. And
when he showed up in WWF during the invasion, it was just like... I think they even mentioned it on television. It was like, that's like the worst. Like, I think that was like maybe one of those things that like The Rock did or some shit like that. And which is like another one of the reasons that I kind of secretly don't like The Rock very much. It's just like, oh, we're gonna fucking murder your career.
The Rock probably didn't even do it.
Probably didn't.
You're just
like you're probably just completely making
hitting it out of The
probably
Rock.
completely imagining that.
The thing is, The Rock is such a positive guy. He'll carry that with no problem. Mike Awesome, you all right?
He did it for The Rock.